Hello.
How are you?
Hanging on a moment with you, Tom DeLonge, for the first time in some time, and exclusively on the UK right now, since we heard the first piece of music from your forthcoming new album. What's going on? What have you been up to? Talking a lot, I guess.
Well, yeah, we've been, a lot. Personally, I have a million things going on. So we have the new Blink record. I mean, first one in like 8 years or something that we have new music.
Yeah.
And I think people are pretty still. The album's amazing. So I think people are going to be, at least if you like this kind of music, it's our best work yet by far. So I've been working on that. Everyone knows I have a movie coming out with Angels and Airways, my other band. So that movie drops in the fall. So this whole fall section has been insane.
It's nice to know you're actually doing some work for a change, because we all know for the rest of the time leading up to the fall is kind of feed up time for you, pretty much.
No, usually I'm just laying around naked with like a beer, and like just children dancing around me in the fields. But no, not this time.
Your missus like knocks on the door like just before fall. It's like, honey, it's fall.
You think it's so glamorous to be in a rock band, but this past year has been easily the most amount of work I've ever done in my entire life.
Let's talk about this first piece of music from Neighborhoods, Up All Night. This has elements, I think, of every sort of path that you've walked down, both in Blink and also individually doing your own thing.
It is, and I think a lot of people, there was lots of conversations about how this song sounded like Angels and Airways, because Blink never really did anything heavy before. But, and both of my other bands, Boxcar Racer and Angels, played music similar to this.
That's what I think people just wanted to kind of get to the bottom of when they heard this piece of music, was because they've always bought into Blink-182 as a unit, that it's the three of you.
Oh, yeah, no, we spent a year on it, and we kind of separated the record into thirds. I have a studio, those guys have a studio, so now instead of writing it on an acoustic guitar, you kind of write it inside a computer. You have so much more latitude, so you can deliver something that's much more finished, but you can also edit it and change it up really, really well. So even though a song would come kind of in a way like put together, I would hand it off to those guys, and they would dig into it and turn it all around, change things, add things, and I would do the same thing to their songs. So it was super collaborative, and that's what our band was all about back in the day. It was really stupid how we broke up in the first place, by the way.
Yeah.
There was really no reason. So it's not like anybody like had sex with each other's wives or something like that. It was it's like for how mad we hated each other, that should have been what happened or something.
So what happened? I mean, without going all the way back over it, in a couple of words, let's try and simplify and make it simple. What really was the problem in the first place?
I think the fact the band got so big, the fame and the machine running the band took over. So the band members weren't communicating, because every day there was labels and agents and publishers calling and booking us and doing everything for us, that me personally at the time, because I'm the one that quit, I missed the first 2 years of my daughter's life. She was 2 years old. I was gone for all 2 years of it, and I needed to go home. I just needed to go home and be a dad for a minute. And but the machine didn't really let it happen, and the band wasn't communicating at that point because we were so burnt out and tired. We just needed a break. And rather than everyone get together and go, you know what, we need a break, it's like the machine doesn't let you do that, because there's 100 people behind you telling you how everything is going to go to hell in a handbasket if you don't book this show or this tour or write this. It's just insane.
It's great to have you back. We need to spend a few minutes just talking about the new album and what fans can expect, because this will be the first time they've heard you talk about the new music and not about the greatest hits tour, as you called it last year. So what can people expect on Neighborhoods?
Well, I think that, what's really cool about the title, I think it's really appropriate, because Travis grew up in a kind of gangland-infested area of East Los Angeles, and I grew up in the total suburbs, and Mark grew up out in the desert where they make bombs, So it's like the idea of all of us coming together to make what Blink is, and the potential for what Blink could be is what I think a lot of people saw. But truthfully, what people really need to expect from it, it's very modern. I think it's very relevant with what's happening in rock and roll today. But we also were very conscious to throw 2 or 3 songs that sounded like it's straight from the mid-'90s. So I think kids are going to be super stoked on that. It's made for big places, and it's made to be gigantic sounding.
Speaking of big places, you had to postpone the UK tour in order to complete this record, and you were very honest and open about that. There was never any question that was the case. But obviously, a certain amount of disappointment for you guys too. I mean, you're not known for having to pull shows.
Yeah, no, it was horrible because we thought we knew that people were going to start filling in the blanks and guessing as to why. Oh, the band's breaking up again. Oh, they don't care, or they're doing this so they can go do something else in the States or whatever, you know. But we really just took our time for the recording, and when it got down to the wire, we're like, oh my God, we don't have enough time to finish this. We got to hunker down, and we knew that we would probably be getting a few comments that were negative from the press or the kids until we released this.
Yeah, well, listen, tour dates now reconfirmed for 2012. Album on the way, single on the radio.
But whatever.